Ladies, when a woman goes silent, something shifts in a man's world. He might not realize it right away, especially if he's used to the noise, the conversation, the check-ins, the questions, the concern. But the moment she stops talking, the silence becomes deafening. And not the kind of silence that feels peaceful. I'm talking about the kind of silence that makes a man sit up in his bed at 2 in the morning wondering what just happened. See, fellas get comfortable, real comfortable. When you've got a good woman and she's always there, always checking on you, always asking if you ate, how your day went, what's bothering you, you start taking that stuff for granted. It ain't that you mean to, it just happens. You assume she'll always be there doing that same thing because that's just who she is, right? Wrong. When a woman goes silent, it ain't because she ran out of words. Trust me, a woman never runs out of words. It's because she got tired of using them on a man who ain't listening. She got tired of explaining herself, repeating herself, begging for clarity, begging for effort, and begging for the kind of love she was willing to give. That silence is her last form of communication. That's the announcement, but it ain't loud, it's quiet. That's what makes it hit different. Now here's what happens to a man when she goes silent. He starts reflecting. Not immediately, because let's be honest, some of us fellas don't catch on right away. At first he might think she's just moody. She'll call tomorrow. She's just tripping. But then a day turns into 2. That text you usually get in the morning, it don't come. The phone calls at lunch, gone. The check-ins, the sweet good nights, silent. That's when it starts to hit him. He starts thinking back. When did she stop texting first? Was she distant last time we talked? Did I ignore her when she needed me? Oh, now the memory kicks in. Now he remembers how many times she said, I don't feel heard, or I'm tired of always being the one trying. He starts seeing the little signs she was showing him the whole time, the ones he overlooked, the ones he thought didn't matter. And here's the thing, when a man starts reflecting, he realizes the truth ain't in her silence. It's in his own actions. Her silence is just a mirror. It's showing him who he's really been. Not who he thought he was in the relationship, but who he actually was. Was he attentive or was he dismissive? Did he protect her peace or did he disturb it? Was he present or was he just occupying space? That silence forces him to sit with himself. And let me tell you, men don't like that. Most of us are not built for emotional discomfort. We'd rather be distracted, busy, moving, working, playing. But when a woman goes silent, she interrupts all of that. She brings stillness to his world. That's when the thinking starts, the overthinking, the regret, the self-questioning. And in that stillness, in that heavy silence, a man either evolves or he excuses himself. Now let me say this, the men who care, the real men, the ones who actually value that woman, they go through something deep during that silence. It's like waking up out of a fog. They realize they were slipping. They realized they stopped doing the things that made her feel loved, seen, protected. And that reflection turns into action. They reach out not with empty words, but with accountability. They don't just say, I miss you. They say, I see now what I didn't see before. I was wrong. That's growth. That's a man who learned something. But the ones who never cared, the ones who were just passing time, they'll use that silence as an excuse to walk away, and you know what? That's a blessing, because your silence flushed out the fake ones. That's the power of a woman going quiet. It's not passive, it's not weak. It's actually one of the strongest moves she can make, because in that silence, she hands him the responsibility. She stops steering the relationship. She stops explaining how to love her. She lets him choose. And through that choice, she finds out everything she needs to know about that man. It's like this. When a woman is talking, pleading, fixing things, she's still holding on. But when she gets quiet, that's when she's handing over the wheel. And she's watching to see where you take it. If you crash, that's on you. If you come back stronger, that's because you grew up. So don't ever underestimate the reflection that happens in a man's mind when the woman he once ignored goes silent, because trust me, he's hearing her now, loud and clear. Let me tell you something about a man. When a woman goes silent, he's either about to respect her boundaries or test them. That silence puts him in a position where he has to choose what kind of man he is. And believe me, silence ain't just the absence of words. It's a statement, it's a shift, it's a reset. That silence draws a line in the sand, and now it's on him to decide which side he's going to stand on. Now, let's keep it real. A lot of dudes are used to access, easy access. You call, they don't pick up. You text, they respond when they feel like it. You express your feelings, and they hit you with you overthinking or you being too emotional. But as soon as you stop calling, stop texting, stop explaining, suddenly it's, what's going on with you? Oh, now they're curious. Now they want to know why. Because the access they used to have is gone. And when you cut off access without warning, without drama, without begging, just quiet, he starts to realize he was never in control. You were. Here's the deal. A boy, a man who ain't grown mentally or emotionally, he's going to see that silence as a challenge. Not a sign to reflect, but a game to win. He's going to test your boundaries. He's going to send that hey text. He's going to like your posts. He's going to wait for you to bite. He'll hit you up with some casual just checking on your messages, not because he really wants to check on you, but because he wants to see if he still has power over you. And if you respond quick, if you entertain the bait, he thinks, I still got her. Let me tell you something, ladies. Silence will show you everything you need to know about a man's respect for you. A man who tests your boundaries when you go silent, he never respected them in the first place. He was just playing along because it benefited him. But the moment you withdraw, he'll poke the fence to see if it holds. If you let him back in too soon, he ain't going to change. He's going to repeat the same behavior because to him, your silence was just a speed bump, not a stop sign. But let me flip it for you. A grown man, a real man, when he sees you go silent, when he feels that distance, he's not going to play with you. He's not going to play with your emotions or try to outsmart you. He's going to pause. He's going to check himself before he checks on you. He's going to recognize, damn, I might have pushed her too far. And instead of testing you, he's going to respect you. He might not hit you up right away. He's not ghosting. You got to understand that. He's gathering himself. He's trying to figure out, how do I come correct? That's the difference. Boys test you. Men adjust to you. Now let me go deeper. Your silence is an invitation for him to reveal his character. It puts pressure on him. Not in an aggressive way, but in a real way. Because up until now, you've been doing all the emotional labor. You've been the communicator, the planner, the peacemaker. But the moment you pull back and say nothing, you're handing him the pen and saying, write the next chapter. And what he does in that silence, how he moves, how he responds, how he respects your space, that's the story. And let me say this, silence is not a test you give a man. It's a truth you reveal to yourself. You don't go silent hoping he'll chase you. You go silent because you're tired of chasing someone who ain't showing up. You go silent to protect your peace, not to manipulate his mind. That's why it's so powerful, because it comes from a place of clarity, not confusion. Now, a man who's really for you, he's not going to treat your silence like rejection. He's going to treat it like a wake-up call. He's going to realize he crossed a line, or maybe he just stood still while you kept moving. And he's going to come to you not with guilt tripping, not with games, but with growth. He'll say, look, I understand why you went quiet. I see where I went wrong. Let's talk. That's a man who gets it. But if he starts flipping the script, why you acting brand new? You being childish. Oh, so you just gonna disappear? Then girl, you already got your answer. That man didn't respect your boundaries. He respected your availability. And now that it's gone, he's mad. Not because he loves you, but because he lost access to what you gave so freely. So you got to ask yourself, is he reacting to your silence because he misses your soul or because he misses your service? Listen, when a man values you, he won't see your silence as disrespect. He'll see it as a sign that something meaningful is at stake. And he won't try to push your boundaries. He'll try to understand them. He won't be looking for ways to get around your silence. He'll be looking for ways to earn your voice again. And that's when you'll know this ain't a boy. This ain't a time waster. This is a man who's listening, learning, and stepping up. Because at the end of the day, your silence isn't about hurting him. It's about healing you. And the man who deserves you, he'll understand that. He'll rise to that. And if he doesn't, that silence just saved you a whole lot of time. Let me break something down for you. It's real simple, but real deep. A man doesn't always realize what he has while he has it. But the moment you go silent, the moment you stop showing up the way you used to, that's when the reality hits him. He's losing you. And not just your body, not just the good morning texts, the check-ins, or the time you gave so freely. He's losing you, the person, the energy, the love, the softness, the warmth. And baby, once a man realizes he's losing a woman like that, it does something to him on the inside. Here's the thing about most men. We're built to chase, not always to cherish. And sometimes we don't appreciate what's in front of us until it ain't answering the phone, until it ain't picking up the pieces for us, until it ain't trying anymore. That silence, that's when it sets in. That's when the loss becomes real. He's sitting there wondering where you went emotionally, why you're not texting first, why you're not asking about his day. He's confused because he's so used to you being there. You see, he took your consistency for granted. He mistook your patience for passivity. And now that it's gone, now that you've pulled back and you're no longer fighting for his attention, he starts realizing what your presence actually meant in his life. You start seeing the little things you did, things you thought didn't even matter, the way you remembered his schedule, the way you encouraged him when he doubted himself, the way you supported his dreams, even when he was slacking on yours. And it hits him. That wasn't ordinary. That was love. That was loyalty. That was someone showing up for him in a world where most people show out, not show up. Now here's where it gets deep. A man may not always be emotionally expressive, but when the silence shows up, it creates a void. And you know what happens when there's a void? The brain starts filling in the blanks. He starts rewinding old conversations in his head. He starts thinking about the last time y'all talked, the last fight, the last hug. He wonders if he missed a sign, if there was something he didn't catch. And now that you're silent, he starts realizing all the chances you gave him, all the grace, all the forgiveness. And what really messes him up? The fact that you didn't leave with noise. You didn't curse him out. You didn't burn the bridge. You didn't make a scene. You just stopped. And see, that type of exit, that's not temporary. That's not, I'll be back when I cool off. That's, I'm gone because I'm done explaining why I deserve better. And let me tell you something else. That moment when a man realizes he's truly losing you, it humbles him. It shakes him. Because now he's facing a reality he didn't prepare for. He thought you'd always be there, even if things weren't perfect. He thought you'd always pick up when he called, even if he went silent for days. But now the roles are reversed, and your silence is louder than any words you ever spoke. He starts doing things he never did before. He starts watching your stories. He starts texting just thinking about you. He brings up old memories. Remember we went to that concert? Because he's trying to pull you back emotionally. He's trying to reconnect without admitting he disconnected first. And in the process, he's realizing something he should have known from day one. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong man. The silence also forces him to look at who he's been. Because now he ain't just missing you. He's missing the version of himself that only existed when he was with you. You made him feel seen. You made him feel capable. You made him feel like he mattered. And without that energy, he starts feeling empty. That's why men double back, not always because they love you right, but because they miss who they were around you. But don't get it twisted. Just because he realizes what he's losing doesn't mean he's ready to give you what you deserve. Sometimes a man will recognize your value, but still not be able to match it. He'll feel the pain of losing you, but won't have the maturity to fix it. And that's why you can't let the panic in his voice trick you. Just because he finally understands your worth doesn't mean he can afford it emotionally. See, your silence didn't just make him miss you, it made him face himself. And if he ain't ready to grow, he's going to try to drag you back into a space you've outgrown. But you can't go back just because he finally woke up. He had the alarm clock ringing for months, he just kept hitting snooze. So when a man realizes he's losing you, he goes through a storm. Internally, emotionally, mentally. He might not show it right away. He might even try to act unbothered. But best believe, when you were real, when your love was genuine, when you showed up consistently, your absence becomes a thunderstorm in his peace. Because the truth is, a woman like you doesn't just disappear, you leave echoes. You leave impact. And once he feels the weight of losing you, he'll never be the same. Now, what he does with that realization, that's on him. But that silence, that's your healing. That's your freedom. And for him, that silence is the beginning of his reflection or his regret. Let me tell you something about silence and what it does to a man, especially when it's been prolonged. Silence forces action. It's not a passive thing. It's a wake-up call. When a woman goes quiet, when she stops doing the emotional labor, when she stops reaching out, when she stops trying to figure out the problems that keep coming up, that silence becomes louder than any argument you could have had. And you know what? A real man is going to respond to that silence. He's going to make a move. He's going to step up or he's going to step out. But one thing's for sure, that silence is going to force him to do something. See, here's the reality. When you're always there, always available, always trying to fix things, it's easy for a man to assume that things will never change. He gets used to you being the one to initiate, to reach out, to make the effort. He gets comfortable in the idea that no matter what, you'll always be there for him, no matter how much he drifts. And so he doesn't make the necessary adjustments. He doesn't make the changes you've been asking for. Why should he? You're there making sure everything stays afloat. He thinks things will always be this way. But the moment you stop, the moment you go silent, now he's got to make a choice. He's got to decide if he's going to step up or if he's going to let the relationship fall apart. And here's the truth about men. We don't always realize the value of something until it's gone. That's why your silence hits so hard. It's like a slap in the face of his ego. It's a challenge to his comfort. Because when you're quiet, he knows something's wrong. He knows this isn't just a phase. He knows he's lost access to the very thing he's been taking for granted, and the real question is, what's he going to do about it? A man who really values you, who really loves you, when he feels that silence, he's not just going to sit there and wait for things to go back to normal. He's going to make a move. He's going to